So I wanted to film this really natural, not their makeup look for you guys at the moment, just because it's just been Christmas, New Year's has just gone, my skin looks awful, I've drunk too much, I've had way too much sugar, carbs, fatty foods, you know the drill. So my skin looks pretty bad, and I thought it was a good time to show you this because it's probably like concealing is probably the biggest chunk of this video and on how to get it to look so natural. So I thought it would be a good time to film it for you guys. So you guys are going to want to go in with your moisturisers, your skincare, your primers. I would go in with a really radiant primer, so I would still use the Illamasqua Radiance Veil, but you guys can use whatever works for you. I think that having a dewy, fresh look when you're trying to do no makeup, I mean, my skin is still quite glowy now and I have nothing on, so I just try and mimic what's there and work with what's there rather than try and completely change things. But obviously if your skin's really matte, you might want to go for a more matte primer. So the first thing that I do is I go in with the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. I use the shade L3 Warm. I don't actually like using the applicators on these, so I just put it on my wee little spatula that I use. And I'm going in with a Sigma eyeliner in E85. And I'm literally just going to be taking this over the really red areas. You kind of want to fade it out so that there isn't any harsh lines, if that makes any sense. Like if I just went in, let me show you. If I just went in like that and like left that, you'd be able to see it when I put more layers on. So you really want to kind of blend it in. I don't really bother with the, like, I will cover these two, but like the other spots that I have, I'll only go over them lightly because I put blusher on and it's red anyway, so there's not much point in me concealing that area. Sometimes you can overblend and take the colour off so you can still see the red spot. So I always just go back in and make sure that you have got rid of all the redness. When we add our second concealer is when you can really start to blend it in, because at the moment you can just see that I have concealer blushes all over. Okay, so you kind of want that to dry a little bit. So what I go in and do is my brows. You want to just use any kind of like pomade, and you just want to use an angled brush and a spoolie. So I literally lightly dip my brush into my pomade. I first go in with my spoolie and just brush all my hairs upwards. And then I go in with like the product, but I literally just touch the hair, I don't touch the skin. So it's just going to be darkening up what I have, it's not going to be drawing underneath. And I only do this for the outer part of my brow to start with. Then you're going to want to work the brush sideways, so at this sort of angle, through the brow at the front, just very lightly, and it's just going to add a wee bit of colour there. I've got very sparse hair at the front of my brow, so I have to add a little bit of colour to make it look how I like it to. Probably put a wee bit too much product on that, so I'm just going to use the spoolie and really work it through. And that is how I will do my brows on a no makeup day. So now my concealer's probably set a little bit more. I'm going to go in with the Naked Skin Concealer. I use Light Warm. Yet again, I don't really like using the applicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it over that Kat Von D concealer. I'm just going to go in with a beauty blender, dab it in the product. I start off on my under eyes because that's where I like the most of this product to go. And then I work onto my nose because that is very red. And then I literally just use the rest to blur out the concealers. you may need to go in with a little bit more product. I'm going to focus this around my chin and on my forehead. If you don't have rosacea or you aren't colour correcting as much as I am, obviously you don't need as much product as I am using, and this is actually quite full coverage now. Whereas when I have good skin, I just use a lot less concealer. But obviously, at the moment I need it. So now you're going to want to set the powder. I only like setting on my under eyes because that's where I feel like it moves, and on my nose. So I'm just using the Real Techniques brush. I'm not sure what this is. I think it's the O2 brush. And the Ambient Light Hourglass in Diffused Light Powder. And I literally just take my brush in here and dab it on my under eyes. You could take it all over if you felt the need to, but I want to keep my skin looking as glossy as possible. So now I'm just going to go in with blusher. I'm using the Hourglass palette. The colour is Luminous Flush. I would show you the colour, but basically I dropped the palette and I am like keeping the loose bronzer still in here. If you have a look. It's just, yeah. So that's why I can't show you, but I'm using this colour. It's just a warm pink. If you suffer from rosacea, I highly recommend using a pink blusher, because I feel like instead of you're almost camouflaging, like work with what you've got, not trying to counteract it. Then you're going to want to go in with highlighter, of course. I'm using the Becca Opal highlighter. Really lightly, not applying a lot. Maybe this isn't so much of a natural makeup, it's more of a everyday makeup. My favourite thing to do now is to go in with the eyeliner brush and literally just draw wee little freckles on. Just use the remnants of what's on the brush first. I think if you don't wear a lot of coverage, I mean this turned into quite a more full coverage look, you're going to want to use freckles because they really help to disguise any sort of blemishes. I get really like impatient when doing stuff like this, so I like end up doing them really dark and then I'm like, yeah, not necessarily the look I was going for. You can always use your fingers to like work the product in. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to do too much. But what I am going to do is take my beauty blender, no product on it, and just work over that. Okay, so this is the, let me get this right. Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and Definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Colour Lip Liner. This lip liner is so good the name had to be this long, in Sugarglass. I'm going to go in with the Gerard Cosmetics Buttercup lipstick. This is just my go-to lipstick at the moment for everyday wear, as it's one of those lipsticks that I've had for a while and never used, so I'm doing this thing where I'm like going to use up all my lipsticks. So this is my need to use up lipstick at the moment. And that is pretty much the look done. I find that by doing my hair I always feel a lot better, rather than just having it up in a bun all day. It makes me feel more done up than I actually am. And here we go, this is my no makeup everyday look. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, The subscribe button's down here, so give me a like and a subscribe please. Thank you, see you guys soon.